What's up? What's up? What's up? Now it's time to get started. Had a pretty busy morning, fellas. Yep, pretty busy. Now, let's get into it. Hit the like button coming through the door. Hit the like button coming through the door. What's up, Bear? Yep. Yeah, the Gilbert Arenas video. I just released it while I was out. I wasn't at home when I released it, so yeah, a lot of people was talking about that. Yeah, so let's get into it. Isiah Thomas, 2 years ago, talked about Chris Paul. And it kind of went by everybody's ears until this playoffs. Somebody went and resurfaced the interview Isiah said about Chris Paul. Now, Isiah Thomas scouted Chris Paul when he was in high school and college. He was a general manager at the time. And he knew Chris Paul was the goods. And you know, if Isiah Thomas say somebody is the goods and they the full package, NBA ready, he knew Chris Paul was the one. Hit the like button, good people. I know y'all just got here, but just hit the like button. That's free. Thanks to everybody who did super chat in the last video. Thank you. I appreciate it. Burundi don't like me exposing the Bulls on the Patreon. I see that right now. I saw your message, Burundi. We only on part 2. Wait till you hit part 3, Burundi. It ain't over yet. We still exposing that fake legacy of the Bulls. We only own the 2nd championship. Wait till you hear what's finna happen in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You ain't never heard this stuff before. You thought I was shocking you earlier. Some of the stuff people, oh, I knew that. Oh, wait till you hear the stuff you didn't hear, didn't know. That was coming up, and there's a lot finna come up in this 3rd championship run. Because the Bulls weren't supposed to win the 3rd one. We're going to get into that. Then we got the Rick James story coming. The one that got Magic Johnson in it. Oh, yeah. Magic Johnson, Lionel Richie. Now, Isiah Thomas said about Chris Paul. Yeah, the Carcino for Life Patreon. That's the name of it. Now, Isiah Thomas said the issue with Chris Paul, and it's not a huge issue. Okay? The issue with Chris Paul is he has to push himself past safe. And it's the truest statement ever said about Chris Paul. Chris Paul plays a safe game. Isiah said, if you look at Magic, and he's like, we average about 4 turnovers a game because we're pushing past safe. Chris Paul wants to try to minimize his turnovers. He don't want to have 1 or 2 turnovers. And yeah, if you got no turnovers in the game, you're playing a perfect game, but that might not win the game. Being perfect don't necessarily mean you're going to win the game. You got to take those risks. And he don't think Chris Paul takes those risks. He thinks he's playing safe, playing for percentages, playing to keep his average. Like, look, I'm not going to be the one that cause us to lose the game, so I'm just not going to shoot or be active and can take over the game. See, this is the difference between an Isiah Thomas and a John Stockton and all these other players. If Isiah got to score 25 points in the final quarter, he will do that. He can do that. Stockton cannot. Johns can only give you like 15 in a game. Sometimes he might hit 20. But that's an anomaly. He can't push himself past safe. They don't have that extra gear. Well, Isiah has that extra gear. That was Iverson before Iverson. He could hit you for 45. Curry is a 2 guard, not a point guard. He's a 2 guard. It's not a point. He don't play the point now. Draymond plays the point position. He plays off the ball. But it's the truest statement ever said about Chris Paul. And Isiah loves Chris Paul. Isiah loves Chris Paul. So what's up, Big E? Hit the like button, man. Y'all know y'all just got here. Make sure y'all like it up. Like it up and strike it up. See, Chris Paul's situation is different. Oh yeah, the super chat button works, and thanks for hitting on my Cash App. Somebody hit my Cash App up during the guild video. Thank you. No, the situations change. They always change, and the narratives change. Chris Paul, his problem, this is what I'm saying. He went from CP3 to CP37. He's 37. He's looking 37. He can only play good in like 2 games, and then he's gassed or he's got an injury. And man, did what's his name come out and say it? Pat Bev said it during the game. They're getting blown out by 20. Here come the injury excuse. What Cameron Payne said? Aiden got a torn ligament in his thumb. It ain't the same game. I got back injuries. Chris Paul got a quad injury. Book is hurt. He got a hamstring. We all hurt. It ain't the same game. But no. When the Clippers was all banged up and hurt, they had all the mouth. They ain't want to hit. Not those Suns. They got all that mouth. But even when you're hurt, banged up, and injured, everybody gonna be injured. And when you get played 82 games in a season and you get to the playoffs, it's the teams that could tape it up and get out there and get that ring. Isiah had a pulled hamstring in the NBA Finals in LA, and that was the only reason he didn't get MVP. But he wasn't leaving there without that championship. And Joe Dumas is like, I got this. You got us here, Zeke. We gonna finish the rest. Now here this dude talking about some Chris Paul is wealthy. He gonna be all right. What does his money got to do with anything? This is not even a question about his money. Who's questioning his revenue? We talking about him as a basketball player. Y'all crack me up. Chris Paul plays the game and don't take the risks. I've never seen him push himself when the game was on the line. Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. He didn't push himself. He didn't push it. He actually choked up, and James Harden choked too, but it was at a time where he should have stepped up and started doing what he needed to do to get the job done, and he wasn't getting it done. He was folding. Is he a top 5 point guard statistically? Yes. But I would say John Stockton accomplished more. I would pick Stockton over Chris Paul. Chris is a better scorer of the basketball, but I would take Stockton over Chris Paul. In some instances, I'm taking Jason Kidd. I'm taking J. Kidd over Chris Paul. So a lot of people wanted J. Kidd to be in that top 5 and not Chris Paul. J. Kidd went to 3 NBA Finals. Back-to-back NBA Finals with the New Jersey Nets. A team that had Richard Jefferson, Vince Carter, Kerry Kittles, Kenyon Martin. They went to back-to-back. They were a playoff contending team. J. Kidd took that team. The Nets was nothing, and he took them there. Now, Chris Paul does produce wherever he is because he is a great point guard. I never take his skill set away from him. But when the moments come down to where you got to be that guy, you got to be the one to close the door. He can't do it. He hasn't done it. He keep coming up short. And those are the moments where people remember the most. It's just like Jerry West. What they say about Jerry West. Jerry West is one of the greatest scorers of the game. Great player all the way around. But they kept losing to the Celtics. And he finally got the one championship victory on probably one of the greatest teams in NBA history. Let's look at the tables. Oh, they still finna do the sabotage thing? Wow. Still doing the damn sabotage thing. It's crazy. Nope, it's called sabotage. One-on-one. Sammy sabotage. When you're saying things that don't go along with the program, this is what happened. That's why I say hit the like button coming through the door. We were talking about Jerry West and how he's not revered because they always bring up the fact of his losses to Boston and use that against him as a player. So when you keep coming up short, it affects your legacy. Kevin Durant won 2 NBA championships. But because he's been in Brooklyn 2 years and they haven't won a championship, they just got swept now. Now everybody just look at Kevin Durant. Oh, Kevin Durant. Oh, he's all right. He's not what we thought he was. This is Kevin Durant we're talking about. Y'all got him on national TV talking about he smoked weed. I'm high right now. Y'all done got this man smoking because he's so doggone mind gone and stressed out from all the nonsense on social media. Y'all got this man out here smoking. Well, I didn't need that interview to know that he smokes. Everybody know Kevin. Look at his lips. They black as them doggone tires on this car. Man, about 80-90% of the NBA is fried. And he's like, oh, it's the stress. No, y'all just bored. Believe me, when you get money and you can do everything you want to do, that's the most boringest feeling in the world. When you can pick up and go anywhere you want in the world, believe me, that's a boring feeling. It gets really boring fast. That might be cool for a month. Then what about next month? What about the month after that? Then the month after that. And then the month after that. It gets bored. You get bored really quick if you don't find a purpose. Why all these people with money, you be like, why are they so miserable? They got all that money. That's because you don't have it. Once you have it, then you're miserable because you can't be around the people that you want to be around, because you can't go back to the hood. It's almost like waving it in their face. They glad to see you, but they really don't want you there. Then the people that know you only because of your fame, see you coming back to the hood. What he doing back over here for? Yeah, we should rob. Yeah. And this is part of the problem. And this is why there's no neighborhood for black celebrities to go. This is what Tupac was talking about. He was like, man, I want to come back and kick it in my hood, but I can't. I tried to do that, and look what happened. You know, dudes want to fight me. And then I get in a fight, and somebody gets shot, and a kid died. You know, it was sad. All because he trying to kick it in the hood he grew up in. And grew up around these dudes. But they don't want him over there no more. Because he's getting fame now. See, that's what happens when you start getting fame and people are jealous. And, you know, they still broke and they see you on your way up. They supposed to be happy for you, but they envious. There's so many people out there that would rather you fall off from what you got than them actually getting the money you got or success you got. They would rather you fall off and fall back down to where they at. Yeah, see, told you you're gonna come right back down here. Yeah. Rather than them go up there. They would love to see you fall down to where they at than instead of them going up to where you at. So it's a miserable feeling. I've seen multi-million-dollar people live like this. I've seen billionaires that live like that. They live alone in a big mansion. Their kids ain't even allowed to live with them. They got their kids a house and a mansion somewhere else away from them. We went to a billionaire's house. He's an eccentric. He has all this priceless works of art. He looks like a damn hippie. Guy's got stock in damn near everything you know. Remember the company Hewitt and Packard and CD3 and all that? That was him early on in the 80s. Had these companies. So when Hewitt Packard got bought by Aon Hewitt, got bought by Aon, who owns the Manchester United, when they got bought out and became Aon Hewitt and did a merger, he got billions. His net worth shot up to billions. Let me tell you, this man has a fortress. A renovated fortress that goes like a donut. Like when you drive in the house, you drive in this house and you drive around in a big old circle and it's like swirls all the way up. Then it's like bomb-proof. A bomb-proof sheltered house. Like if anything like a bomb happened, he downstairs, the whole thing comes down like a metal gate and you'll be locked in. It turns into a fortress. Can't nothing get in there. So if the government try to raid him, they ain't gonna get in there. You'll need a tank. You'll need everything to get that damn bomb. He got a bomb blasting damn thing in there that comes down and seals it. Underground safe. Dude's severe. Kept telling me to invest in water. This was 8 years ago, 2014, whatever years that is. It's 2014. Kept telling me to invest in water. Invest in water. Gotta invest in water. Gotta invest in water. This is 2014. And you know what? He's miserable. He was talking to complete strangers and happy. We were there. So he could show all this stuff to people. He's miserable. And he's a billionaire. He can go anywhere in the world. But he didn't been there, done that. There's nothing he can't buy. There's nothing he can't do. So there's nothing to work for. That's miserable. So people think they want all this money and that's the answer to everything, but it really isn't. If you don't have a passion, if you don't have a drive, if you don't have something to inspire you to get up in the morning to do something, then what is the purpose of your purpose of life? It's off. Like I told you earlier. You have to understand where people are coming from. Now, I understand where Isaiah is coming from, and I understand Chris Paul. Chris Paul is more, his mind is more into the business of the NBA. Even though he's not president of the Players Union anymore, he's still involved. It ain't like he just like, I'm unplugged from that, I'm only a player. He was the president of the Players Union. He was doing moves behind the scenes. He's always talking with Adam Silver Slipper, going over the policies and changes and all these practices and all this stuff. So he's already business mind into that world. Isiah was president of the Players Union. Almost all the years he was in the NBA. So if Isiah was hated so much by all these people and he was so bad, why they kept voting him to be the president of the Players Union every year? He was almost unanimously voted back in every year. All we know is LeBron won't be the champion this year. Hit the like button for that. LeBron gonna be sitting on his couch. I would have hit that shot. Yep. I would have hit that. Yep. See, that shot was right there. Yep. I should play with Luka. Yep. Me and Luka can get there. Yep. That's what I'm gonna do. After this season, me and Bronny, yep, we're gonna go join Dallas. Yep. That's what I'm saying. Hit the like button up for that. We should be at 300 likes easy off the fact LeBron James is not in the playoffs. I can get an amen to the congregation for that. And that alone. Well, here's the scenario. People always, they can't see something, like your vision might be better than somebody else's. Isiah Thomas, he sees some things a lot different apart and further apart than any other player probably in the game. He sees things 10 times before it happens. That's why he was the president of the Players Union. This is why he was an executive. Isiah was always very smart in knowing what the person wants and how to get it before they even ask it. That was one of his keys to life. That was one of Isiah Thomas's gifts to the world, is saying, let me see what they want from me. And how can I get it from them? Let me see what they want from me. How can I get it to them? I know what they want before they even ask it. And that's part of the job. So the media decide to destroy Isiah Thomas and say he ruined the Knicks. Remember how I destroyed that lie? With facts? Because everybody just say it, but nobody even think to look it up. Nobody even think to check. Because at the end of the day, believe me, it's just basketball. Oh man, without that dude, they might be in trouble. I never thought like that. That was never my motive. I never saw I never saw it like that. For real. I was different. I saw Isiah Thomas as a change of the guard. When he was with the New York Knicks, it was a whole different squad. All you got to do is your homework. See, that's the thing. People don't do their homework. But the only reason they came to blame Isiah Thomas is because all the people in the league, the players and everything else, he wasn't with the agenda of the NBA. He wasn't with that. The only guy who had backing him really was Dolan. David Stern loved the guy. That's why he's like, man, Isiah, he's a great executive. We loved him as an executive. We just didn't want him to win. It was worse for us because he's winning. See, that's the problem. Isiah wasn't supposed to win like that. Like, have him go to the finals, that's cool. You know, it was like, okay, they got one, now they got two. Okay, we got to break this Detroit thing up. They really should have been your first three-time champions since the Boston Celtics, since the old Celtic days. That's how good of a team they were. But they give you a narrative that all they did was beat people up, which it wasn't. I mean, you just can't go around punching and beating people up and winning championships. They played the same way the entire league played, and they were just better players. That's why the Chicago Bulls went and recruited damn near every Detroit Piston player they could find, because they knew they were lying. They were jealous. They were envious, in other words. So, right, but who's better to tell you than Isiah Thomas? Who's better to tell you than Zeke? In 93, that was the best season they had. They were 60-22. That's the best Knicks season they had since 1970 when they won the championship. Then in 94, they won 57 games. Then in 97, they won another 57 games and came up short. So 93, 94, and 97 were their best seasons since the 70s, since they won the championship. Absolutely. Okay. Let's go here to Basketball Reference. Isiah came in 2003. Scott Layton was the executive, the president of basketball of operations in 2002, 2003. The Knicks was 37 and 45. Let's look at the roster and see who they had on the team. Y'all had all this money going out, heavy money going out on the Knicks, because you were overpaying for Allen Houston. You had Latrell Sprewell on the team, Kurt Thomas, Charlie Ward, Witherspoon, Frank Williams, Travis Knight, Lee Nayland, LeVar Postel, Othello Harrington from Georgetown. Y'all was paying all that money to. Howard Isley, Michael Dozlak from Utah, and Shannon Anderson. That is what your team looked like before Isiah took over. Now, all of your salaries was a mess. Allen Houston was getting $14 million. Antonio McDyess was getting 12.6. Latrell Sprewell was getting 12.3. Larry Johnson, who wasn't even on the team no more, is getting $9 million. Luke Longley, who wasn't on the team no more, is getting $7 million. Shannon Anderson is getting $6 million. Charlie Ward, 5.5. Howard Isley, 5.3. Spoon is getting $5 million. Kurt Thomas is getting $5 million. Travis Knight is getting $4 million. Othello Harrington's getting $3 million. Michael Dozlak is getting 1.4. You got 13 people getting millions. Frank Williams was getting 832,000. Mike Pope got 633,000. Lee Nayland got 587,000, and LeVar Postel got 587,000. Now, Isiah Thomas took over as president of basketball operations in 2003, 2004. He came in and replaced Scott Layton. Right away, Isiah Thomas' first move, he got Stephon Marbury. Vin Baker was brought to the team. Anthony Penny Hardaway. This is what y'all team was looking like when Isiah got there. Nazir Muhammad. Dikembe Mutombo is on the team. Tim Thomas. Keith Van Horn. This is what Isiah did first year on the team. He gave y'all players. This was just to get started. But what is he supposed to do as a player? Trim those salaries. And what did he do? First thing he did was trim those salaries. Larry Johnson, his money was prorated, so it wasn't on the cap no more. So he was on the injury reserve list where they just pay him, but it didn't hit the cap no more. So they got that removed. So Allen Houston got his 15. McDyess is getting 13. Keith Van Horn getting 13. Then it drops. Shannon got 6. Charlie Ward got 6. Howard Isley getting 5. Kurt getting 5. So he's cleaning up the team while he's bringing these new players onto the lineup. Knicks made the playoffs that year. They got eliminated in the first round. They wasn't, there, but at least they made the playoffs. They got swept by New Jersey. The very next year, Lenny Wilkens was the coach. Then Herb Williams took over as coach for a little bit. And Isiah was the executive. Let's see what happens now. You got Trevor Ariza from UCLA, a rookie. You got Vin Baker. Shannon Anderson still on the team. Y'all got Jackie Butler. Y'all got Jamal Crawford and Stephon Marbury as your backcourt. Penny Hardaway, Allen Houston still sucking up money. Nazir Muhammad, Malik Rose. You got Tractor Trailer on the team. Tractor Taylor on there. Yep, and Jerome Williams. So you had no players on your team. Then they get Larry Brown, and they supposed to be better. Larry Brown came in and destroyed the entire New York Knicks. His style of coaching was very divisive. It just wasn't working. They thought he could come in and fix things. He made it worse. It was all Larry, too. He couldn't win with Eddie Curry, Jamal Crawford, Steve Francis, Anthony Hardaway, Channing Frye, Matt Barnes. Listen to the names that he had on the team. This is the team that this coach said he can win with. Larry Brown said he could not win. Isiah gave him Trevor Ariza, Matt Barnes, Jamal Crawford, Eddie Curry, Antonio Davis from the Davis boys that used to be with the Pacers, Steve Francis, Channing Frye, Penny Hardaway, Stephon Marbury, Quentin Richardson, Nate Robinson. Are you kidding me? Jalen Rose. All right, you couldn't win with that lineup? And y'all tell me Isiah Thomas didn't do his job as a GM, as a president of basketball operations? Look what the he gave him. The Knicks don't have that now. That's enough to win more than 23 games. That's on the coach. So the next season, Isiah had to take over as coach because they had to get rid of Larry Brown. By that team, the team was all divided. Well, they were still starting Jamal Crawford as a starter. So Donnie Walsh came in 2007 and took over the duties. And everybody kept trying to get Isiah fired, talking about he touched the girl or whatever, the fake lawsuit. He came in, he brought in Zebo, Zach Randolph, Quentin Richardson, Nate Robinson, Malik Rose, Stephon Marbury, David Lee, Fred Jones, Jared Jeffries, Eddie Curry, Jamal Curry, Wilson Chandler, and Ronaldo Balkman. You can't win with that lineup? Something was wrong. But they tell you Isiah didn't do his job. But look at the talent he brought in, and he reduced all the salaries. Took the Knicks out of the high salary cap. But they tell you he didn't do his job. Why? Because he's a black general manager, black president of basketball operations. There have been white basketball operation presidents who have done absolutely diddly squat, and they continue to have a job every year. There ain't nobody thought about firing them. Every year these teams suck and nobody talking about firing them. You know why? Because they want us to worry about being coaches, not presidents. They don't want us to be a symbol of success from a president of basketball operations, because then, wow, we're going to aspire to be presidents of basketball operations. Can't have that. No. Let's keep them down, keep them found. Inspire and fight to be the coach. That's for you. Coaching is for you. This is too complicated for you to be president and general manager. You got to know basketball. They'd be like, we play the game. What about the game we don't know? Exactly. So what people got to do is retool themselves into thinking smart. Now, Isiah Thomas has always proven and shown that he's always been ahead of the game. This is why Chris Paul would never be compared to Isiah Thomas. Because Isiah Thomas has always been one to be one step ahead of the game. You see, Zeke? That's why he got 2 of those. And Chris Paul ain't got 1 of those. He had his shot. His shot was against Milwaukee Bucks. They was up 2-0, and then he pulled a disappearing act. That was his shot. See? Greatness, shaking hands with greatness. 2 of the greatest minds in the world. Carcino, Isiah Lord Thomas III. Shaking hands. And you know what I told him? You're the best to ever do it. They fooled everybody else. They ain't fooled me. Nobody else 6 foot tall ever did and lead nobody to this. That was unheard of. You had to be led by a center. Oscar Robertson couldn't win one of those until he played with Kareem. He couldn't get it done without a Hall of Fame center because the big man had to do it. Oscar Robertson is my 2nd favorite player of all time. This is the greatest. This is the greatest. Why? Because he had the harder road. He's a 6 foot guard beating them in the era of the centers, the big men. See, I recognize greatness. And when you recognize greatness, you see it and you say, okay, now that's greatness. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. It's not that hard. Ain't that much to it. Greatness. So when you see Isiah Thomas and he tell you about Chris Paul, that is the truest statement ever to form. Jordan couldn't lead a team nowhere. They had to delude the entire NBA in order to get that. And if you on the Patreon, you hearing part 1 and part 2 right now of the falseness of the fake dynasty of the Chicago Bulls. We've exposed in 2 already. That first championship was such a mockery, a sham. I bet y'all didn't even know 4 teams. Well, 3 teams, because only 5, what? They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams. I think 5 teams that went to the league had winning records. Maybe even 4. Had winning records. Maybe 5, but 3 teams had losing records. 3 to 4 teams had losing records in the playoffs. I know 6, 7, and 8, the East was destroyed because they had 4 teams coming to the NBA in 2 seasons to try to stop the Detroit Pistons. They wanted to split this team up. They was too strong. They were 10 deep. It's hard to cheat a team that's 10 deep. If you try to foul Isiah Thomas out, we got Vinny the Microwave Johnson coming in the game. Anybody could beat you on any given night. It don't have to be Isiah. It could be Joe. It could be Lambeer. It could be any of those guys. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. People appreciating our work and what we do out here. Grown man business. Yeah, he got T-Mac in the league. He drafted Damon Stoudemire, got T-Mac. Basketball mind. They always want to put a dark cloud over Isiah because he wasn't what was supposed to happen. The Pistons was an anomaly. They from Detroit. They were not supposed to be the guys. It was about Magic and Bird, that glamour party, and they supposed to hand it all over to Michael Jordan. But they got in the way. Michael couldn't beat him. So what they do, in 88, when the Pistons made it to the finals, they said, all right, we got to stop this. Let's enter 2 new teams. Miami Heat. Charlotte Hornets. The very next year, they bring in the Timberwolves and the Orlando Magic. In 2 years, they added 4 teams that split up the entire NBA. When it was only 2 teams in 14 years. Since 1970. That's the last time they did an expansion. And you just do 2 in back-to-back years. That was too fast. Then you do another one in 1995. We haven't gotten there yet, but we're going to get there. I tell you, this Bulls dynasty is a farce. And you're going to learn all the truth behind all of it. They split up all the other teams while the Bulls stayed together. Well, we going to talk about it. All on that Patreon. I'm finna do part 3, and part 3 finna blow your mind. You think 1 and 2 or something, wait till you hear part 3. The Carsino for Life Patreon, better sign up. Because we getting down to it. TV contract, they already had a TV contract. They just went to NBC with Dick Ebersol. CBS said, no, thank you. We're not going to pay that money. CBS had college, and they've been doing damn well without the NBA, paying them all that money. They was like, y'all keep that. We got college. We got the NCAA. Y'all keep that. We'll take the NCAA. Because, see, CBS care about the sport. NBC is a sitcom station. They care about programming. So Dick Ebersol came over there, and he was getting the NBA. He knew how to make it work. He made it a show. The whole thing. I'm like, look, we used to get charged every Saturday morning listening to that. But Isiah Thomas, you talking about the greatest to ever do it. I don't know when I left my chair like that. All right. Oh, yeah, Super Bowl. Cino at the Super Bowl. On the trolley down there. Yeah. Greatness, baby. You got to recognize the greatness. Chris Paul has had more winning seasons and has played longer than Isiah. Isiah's only played 13 seasons. Well, 14, but he was really hurt. So Isiah is really gone at that time. He's not Isiah Thomas anymore. So he was out the league. At that time, guys played 13, 14 years, and that was it. They out the league. They done. Because the game was so physical and you played it so hard. Now, guys, they don't even get touched. So you could play 18, 20 years. Carmelo Anthony, he didn't play the same amount of years as LeBron. And he coming off the bench and he's still playing. He ain't got no qualms about should he play? Is it okay for him to play? Nobody questioning anything about should he play. They like, what team is Melo going to now? Out of all the Lakers, he really did his job. He was coming off the bench. He gave you the same numbers he did in Portland. He averaged 13 points a game. He averaged the same amount of rebounds. Melo did his job. Melo did his job to perfection. But this season was a complete disaster for the Los Angeles Lakers. Because even if the refs cheat, they weren't good enough to get the job done. Because these players are too... It's hard to cheat a team when you don't know who's the one that's going to beat you. And that's what was happening to the Lakers. They were losing to OKC They losing to the Sacramento Kings. They was in a dogfight every night when they supposed to be blowing teams out. But they old, and these young boys are blowing by them like the breeze. You play the Lakers and you blowing by these dudes like other teams is like, man, I can't wait. They licking their chops. They can't wait to play LeBron and the Lakers. So what Isiah said about Chris Paul was the absolute truth. He does not push himself past safe. That is the truest statement ever said about him. He's got to push himself past safe. And he doesn't do it. Mm-hmm. I think Chris Paul, I said 2 years ago, it was actually like 5 years ago. 5 years ago, Isiah said this about Chris Paul. 5 years ago. So he was on the Clippers.
Chris Paul's struggles in postseason series. He has taken the blame for how things ended with Oklahoma City last year. They've won now 14 of 15. Are they in position to not only change their perception, but make it a reality that they're a Western Conference contender?
But this series will provide together. You know, those two words went together.
Listen.
Safe.
Well, you have to make a play. And I'm hoping he can do that.
I don't know if Chris has gotten to this place of being safe. When he first came into the league, you mentioned Chris Paul and championship together. You know, those two words went together. I have not heard him speak of winning a championship now in a couple of years. I think he's fallen into this assist to turnover ratio thing where, you know, Chris is a very safe player right now. And statistically, you know, he maxes out in every box. However, I don't see Chris going outside of himself, outside of those boxes to take extraordinary risks. And, you know, this assist to turnover ratio, if you look back at some of the best guards to ever do it in our league, you know, we generally had 3 to 4 turnovers a night because we took risks. Stockton took risks. Magic Johnson took risks. I took risk out on the floor. You know, to play a game where you have only 1 turnover or 0 turnovers, that means you're playing relatively safe. You're playing good basketball, but you're playing safe. And you know, you right now, Chris is at the point now. He's got to push past safe. He's got to push past the numbers where he can go into the locker room and say, well, I got 20, I got 9, I got 3, and hey, I did my job. No, you got to push past safe.
Yeah, and safe.
See, you got to push past that. You got to do what you got to do to get that game. And this is why Chris Paul don't have a championship. His best chance to win one was Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors when they had Kevin Durant on the team. And I think Kevin Durant was hurt that year. Was that the year Kevin Durant was hurt? Kevin Durant, I think, was hurt. Right? And they had to win that game without Kevin Durant. And Steph Curry hit the big three to seal it. And it's a Game 7 closeout. James came up small, but so did Chris Paul. They missed like 14 threes in a row. Chris Paul got to be the one to say, give me this ball. I got to go in here and get us a bucket. He couldn't do that. And he was, I'm going to say, what, 3-4 years younger than he is right now? He's not overrated. He's a great point guard. He's the last traditional point guard we have in the league. There's not enough. There hasn't been a true point guard in a long time. Malcolm Brogdon is a true point guard, but not like Chris Paul. Chris Paul is the last of that era where he actually can shoot the ball and he can assist and he can run in the offense and a traditional point guard. He's the last one of his era. There hasn't been another one like him. All of the other guards has really just been scorers. Like Ja Morant's not really a point. He's a two guard running the point. It's not too many true point guards anymore. Everybody wants to score. Rondo was one, yes. Rondo was a true point guard. He couldn't even shoot. You know, Rondo came in the league, he couldn't shoot it for a lick. His shot was atrocious. And everybody said, man, Rondo gets a shot, you know, he's going to be a problem. Then he started, getting his shot, but not just shooting the ball or passing the ball. It's knowing how to help other players get open, how to run the offense, see the floor, see what's happening, and then be able to think on the fly. You know, true point guards, man, that's hard. That's like a dying breed. Like other people don't understand. They make fun of Mark Price. Like Jordan would against Mark Price. Mark Price would burn half the league right now while people talking. Mark Price would light them up. They wouldn't be able to write Mark Price right now, probably be averaging 30 points a game with 10 dimes. And you'd be like, man, Mark Price. So they don't understand because they don't know. You was like, look, you don't know that era. Don't just look at somebody and be like, oh man, how y'all let this dude beat y'all? Jordan had Craig Elo. Craig Elo was good. All these guys knew the X's and O's. They knew how to play the system and get points. I'm like, Tim Hardaway would have destroyed this league. See, back then, you actually had to have a move. You know, you had to learn skills in order to get by guys. Because guys can hand check you. They had all these ways to stop you. So you had to have skills in order to be on that court, to be at that level. You had to have and work on your game so you can get by people and know how to get a guy leaning and out of position so you can attack him. That's what's basketball. That's what it's about. KJ was another one, talented. Of course we know Fat Lever. I had the Fat Lever jersey. I used to rock that Denver Nuggets when I was in Vegas rocking the Fat Lever jersey. The throwback. Had on my Fat Lever. Lafayette Lever, baby. That's why he was in the All-Star games. Oh, that throwback, man, that Nuggets, shoot, that was fly. The one that had I had the blue with the city on it. Oh, woo. Still one of the flyest jerseys ever made. Yeah, I had the Alex English, and I had a Fat Lever. That was a devastating team. You know, people that was underrated. They were like one of the highest scoring teams in the NBA. They were scoring more points than they do today. That's why the highest scored game is the Detroit Pistons with Isiah Thomas versus the Denver Nuggets. Still to this day, there was no points scored in a game more than that. With all of the stats they got now, it was the style of play and how they played. They played fast. They shoot within, like the D'Antoni system. Oh, they were faster than that. They would lose by big margins, but he had them playing fast. It's cool. Thank you guys for the super chat. I appreciate it. That's what be keeping me here. People super chatting and hitting up the cash app. I'll stay on. But when they stop, I'll stop. Y'all paying for my time. Doug Moe in them suits, baby. Doug Moe is known for having the ugliest suits in the history of sports. That's what he was known for. The man was the worst dressed every year. Doug Moe. He won that with pride. He had the ugliest outfits in the world. It was like, that's where Craig Sager really got it from. Craig Sager's like, man, I'm gonna bring back the old Doug Moe, because Doug Moe used to get attention for just wearing stuff out of his closet. That was just in his closet. So Craig Sager started wearing wild stuff every time he was doing an interview. Dog, Doug Moe was that would make no sense. He's like, now Dame Lillard's the worst dressed. I don't know. Him and doggone Russ, they going for that worst dress. Man, I seen them wear an outfit that cost doggone $400 worth of pants, and they got paint on them, like they've been painting a house, and they got paint drip all over it. Oh, I'm like, dog, you could have just got a pair of pants and just spilled some paint on it. Why the hell would you buy that and spend all that money for that? I can go out there and look like I painted a house and actually just go paint a house. Right, man. Russ went from worst dress to wearing a dress. Oh, this player's trying to smash Malika Andrews' sister. It's a player right now that's stalking her. All right, they were up 2-0 against the Milwaukee Bucks and lost 4 straight. That can't happen. That can't happen. You understand that can't happen when you're a team that's like the Phoenix Suns. That just can't happen. And here it is again, another game where you're up 3-2. You need 1 game to close it out, and you got 2 left, and you lose both games, and won by like 45, and you're the #1 team in the NBA. That can't happen. That just can't happen. Not like that. That can't happen. If you Chris Paul, that can't happen. Not like that. Luka lost the other night, but Luka had 40. You know, he gonna be gunning. You know what I'm saying? He gonna empty the clip. He going down shooting. So if they gonna lose, I don't want to see you lose with 20 points and only took 2 shots. I mean, he's not Isiah Thomas. He will never be Isiah Thomas. And everybody like to do a comparison between who's better. There's no question. No diggity, no doubt. Chris Paul is basically no killer instinct whatsoever. Chris Paul came in the league. He had a shot. He had a left hand. He had ball handling skills. One of the best, like true point guard. He couldn't stay healthy, and I was like, man, that's terrible. You know that this guy can't stay healthy. If he could stay healthy, man, this guy here. You know, this is the next level. What's good, Demetrius? I told people if they want to keep me on, they can super chat me or hit up the Cash App. If not, I'm finna get ready to hit up my Patreon and get to work over there. Oh, Shawty Dirty. All Yeah, no, tell me about it. All right, there seemed to be no game plan. Is Dame Lillard getting traded? I believe so. I think he's in the way. Simmons is ready to take that job. He wants to play with LeBron James. So Russ coming over to Portland, I don't see that happening, but a lot to have to take place. But Dame wants to play with LeBron. Yeah, I think that Dame Lillard, it's over for Dame time and all that stuff. It's over. Like Dame has gotten too Hollywood. He started, dropping dimes, and all that Dame time stuff. Man, that stuff is out of there. I never saw it like that. Please don't do that to Lillard. No, let him go play with LeBron. They think that's the missing piece. Let him go play with LeBron. Then they gonna see. Dame time is the same thing. Dame is a stagnant player. You see how CJ is? CJ's playing a lot better. He's playing a lot better without Dame. You know why? Because he actually is free. He free from having the ball stick to Dame, who want to be the guy to take the last second shot. He want to start shooting like Steph from half court now. So now it's stunted his game. He don't do the stuff he used to do no more. Dame used to work, get to the point, get to the wing, pull up for the jump shot. He don't do that no more. Once Steph start getting popularity and start hitting all them threes, then he want to start. I'm gonna start practicing that shot now. Then he start hitting from deep. Now it's on. Oh, Dame time. He stopped working on his game, on his all-around game, and started working on shooting from deep. Now he was one of the best finishers at the rim from a point guard position. Kyrie Irving is number one when it comes to finishing at the rim. It had touch on the glass. Nobody got it like that. Dame is second. And he was second. Now he done fell off because he cares more about shooting a deep three. And then he just quit on the team last year. What injury did he have last year that kept him out the whole season? Did he have a whole season type of injury? What did he have? Do anybody even know? Nope. Yeah, well, they dug up all this stuff on Mark Jackson. So to try to disqualify him for being the Lakers coach. They don't want Mark Jackson to coach. I'm trying to tell you, it's all these doggone rainbow skittle people that don't want it to go down. Oh, once Charles Barkley jumped on the Dallas bandwagon, I knew we was in trouble. Thanks for the super chat, though. Appreciate it. Well, Stephen A. Smith don't count. When he put Steph Curry over Isiah Thomas, I was already done with him. You put Steph Curry over Oscar Robertson, Isiah Thomas, I'm done. And say point guard? No way. I don't care who the coach is on the Lakers. Right. They try to discredit other people. If you got to discredit someone else to state that your player is great, then you've already lost. I don't have to discredit Michael Jordan to say Isiah Thomas is the greatest player of all time. I don't got to do that. I just talk about Zeke's success over Michael Jordan. Period. I tell you about Zeke's success against Magic Johnson. He played against Magic, Bird, Jordan. And I'm like, that's the only guy that has consistently beat Michael Jordan. I mean, Larry Bird did it, but that's when Jordan was early in the league. When Jordan got into his heyday, Bird and them was already getting whooped on by Isiah and them. So Bird was done. By that time, when Michael came into his own. So we were the one kicking the Bulls' butt every year and had to get rid of them. When they came into prominence, they always ran into us. Now, Michael Jordan took this to $1 billion industry. That's what I give Michael credit for. He played every game. Preseason, regular season, playoffs. Played every game. He didn't cheat the game at all. He played hard every game. Took no nights off. He was ready to go. No matter what pain he was in, he would tape it up and play. So he was a hooper. So he get my respect for that. And then to carry the league, the entire league on his back and market it and take it somewhere. He took it to $1 billion industry. Where did LeBron take the NBA? He rode the wave. He didn't take the league anywhere. Oh yeah, the Heat kicking it right off. It's 16-4 right now. Steph Curry took the league and did something with it. He changed the entire league. That's what Steph Curry did. Steph Curry changed the league. He took the whole thing from LeBron. And he had a more successful career. Tim Duncan had a better career than LeBron. He carried the no. He didn't. Lowest ratings ever. Okay? During LeBron's era. No, they marketed the hell out of him. Is what they did. Kobe and the Lakers and the Big Three in Boston, they were keeping the league going. When LeBron came into prominence, you think LeBron took over the league when he got here? No, it was about 6-7 years in Cleveland. He was an anomaly. He went in the Cavs played the Spurs in the finals. It was the worst, the least watched finals in like sports history when they got swept. 4 straight. Yes, 20-6. Bam out here doing this thing. See, Miami did this last time. They just had these spells where they fall asleep and then Boston run off like 15 in a row. You can't do that in the playoffs. You can't do that. I'm hating now by stating facts. I just told you LeBron had the worst rated final series in history against the Spurs. That's facts. First time he got there. LeBron's success did not come where he was the man and running the league until he got to Miami when they had the Big Three. Well, they won 2 of 4. Then he kept going back to the finals. Only when Steph Curry came did the final numbers shoot to the top. And that's when he was back with Cleveland. So tell me, what did LeBron do? He was the one, Steph Curry sold that. People wanted to see Steph. He's the draw, not LeBron. Stop it. Nobody cares about LeBron. It's all about Steph. And then you know it. He took it from LeBron instantly. 1 year, he took the whole thing from LeBron. The league was his, and he jagged it. Everybody want to be like Steph. They got to lie and fix the voting. LeBron comes in with the most votes in there. Everybody's got more votes. Steph Curry was second. No, he don't. Ain't nobody gonna outvote Steph. Come on. Are we being real, or are we just gonna sit here and lie to ourselves? No. That's right. He took over. He had more. He had more. He did more. Woo! Bam! God bam! Bam got 10 already. 22-7. Oh, they got Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry back playing now. Oh, and I just heard Wiggins ain't playing in game 3 against the Dallas Mavericks. Wiggins is out. So I don't know if you guys bet or anything, but Andrew Wiggins is out. 24-7. Good Lord. Man, it's a heat wave. Oh, you can't hear? You want me to turn it up a little bit? Wow! Turned it up a little bit. Was it loud enough for you? All right, I'm finna go ahead. Nobody donated anymore. So I'm gonna get ready to bounce out of here. It's been cool. It's 24-7 Miami Heat. First quarter, 5:28 in the first quarter. I'm gonna get ready to bounce. Love, peace, and hair grease. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for those who super chatted. I'm out the door.